Doesn't it sound like heaven to love your teen so well that they can't help themselves but love you back? Welcome to Pivot Parenting. I'm your host, Heather Frazier. And together, you and I are going to build more peace and joy so that your family looks forward to being together in the fun times and so that you are strong enough to overcome any obstacle that your family might face. This is where small weekly shifts that you implement create lasting change so that peace and happiness can truly abound in your home. Hello, my podcast friend. I am so excited that you are here with me today. I have a very special guest with me. It is my fabulous, wonderful niece, Abigail Eve Harper. She received her undergraduate from BYU-Hawaii in intercultural peacebuilding and psychology. And she just graduated from Drew University with a master's in arts of religion. She is a fantastic human. She is always interesting to talk to. I seek her out at all the family functions she is at because of her wisdom beyond her years. And she has the best hair of my life. So she's obviously a good time to have on the podcast and at family dinners. I'm so excited to share the conversation that we had together with you. Welcome, Abigail.
Thank you.
I am really excited to talk about peace.
Good. We need more of it.
Yes. Can you share with us how global happenings are similar to what is micro happening or what can micro happen in families?
I really like conflict studies partially because it essentially very, very similar dynamics, whether it's the micro or the macro. The biggest thing that I see happening on a global and national scale right now that is also very prevalent in families or in homes or friendships, just relationships on a more micro level, is a term called collusion, which is essentially the idea that it takes two to tango. Like that's the fancy academic word for it, that it takes two people or more, two parties to be in conflict with each other. Because often people will say they want peace. Most of us, I think, would say we want
Yeah.
peace. We hope for that. But the way we engage in a conflict actually perpetuates the conflict and gives us more justification to perpetuate conflict rather than seeking peace. So,
Okay.
yeah,
So,
does that make sense?
yes, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying what we say we want versus what our actions say we want don't always align.
Right. And so collusion is, let me break it down like a basic example of, say there's two people walking down the street, one bumps into the other and says, hey man, watch where you're walking, kind of aggressive. And the other one says, that wasn't my fault, that was your fault, a little more aggressively back. And then the other one maybe escalates it and shoves them, says, that wasn't
Somehow
on
I
me.
can see this
Yeah.
playing
And
out in the kitchen with siblings.
yes. Yeah.
Or maybe a parent says, "Hey, why didn't you do your dishes?" And the kid's
Yeah.
like, "I didn't even see your text."
Yeah. Yeah.
And it
And so it
escalates.
escalates. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
the way we engage in it, we say we want peace, but we actually invite the other person to quote unquote punch back, whatever that punch looks like.
Yeah.
And the more it goes, the harder the punches get back and forth, back and forth. So the
The more it
conflict escalates.
escalates.
Right.
Okay. Do you have specific strategies to recognize that and to apply peace within our family life?
Yeah. I think the first thing that's so important is just recognizing your part in a collusion. And that's really hard because collusion is pretty intuitive for us. It's pretty
Yeah.
easy to engage in a conflict in a way that perpetuates it. It makes sense to our brains.
Very
And it's
natural response.
right, but it's a lot harder to be like, oh, I may have been participating in something that's hurtful. I may have been doing hurtful things because we're really good at seeing what the other person, the other party is doing that's harmful, but we're not as good as recognizing what we're doing in ourselves. So that'd
Well,
be
we're
the
never contributing. Hello.
yeah,
It's always 100% the other person. I mean that
never.
facetiously.
Yeah.
Um, okay. What I encounter, and maybe you have some information that could be helpful on this. What I encounter is people don't want to see themselves clearly or how they're contributing
Hmm.
because it feels very shameful or very embarrassing, like they've done something wrong, like they're less than. Like
Hmm.
maybe if I admit my part, then I will be less worthy of love or acceptance,
Hmm.
or I won't be as good.
Hmm.
If I'm feeling shame or embarrassment, or a lot of people I come across genuinely cannot or refuse to see themselves because it's been so ingrained in them since childhood that if you aren't perfect, then you don't deserve love or validation or a sense of safety. And so it's really tied to their sense of safety of I can't be part of this problem because then I am threatened.
Hmm. Let me think. What would I say to somebody who can't self-confront because it feels too unsafe? Is that the question?
Yes.
I think I would say life is unsafe. Conflict for most of us feels very unsafe, which is why we engage in it in maladaptive ways
Yeah.
that
We're in fight,
lead
flight, freeze, fawn.
exactly. But conflict is built into life. Conflict or tension, there's different terms for it, but whatever it is that causes us to feel anxious or tense or uncomfortable, that's a fact of life. And the more you try to run from it, the more it's going to have control over you rather than you having control over it. And that's hard. I would probably first with those people just acknowledge that it sucks to feel anxious. It does. It's not fun, but courage comes from facing those anxieties. You're not broken. Nothing's wrong with you if you're feeling anxious in a conflict or when tension arises. You're very human. But going towards that is what is most beneficial for you and for your relationships. And so for me, as a very anxious person, I have to kind of calm myself down and then remind myself my values lie in relationships. So everyone's values differ a little bit, but what are their values that they could hold on to that could help them move towards the uncomfortable? Is maybe what I would say.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mention your value is relationships, which is high on my priority list as well. And I think that's really a great tip or hack to be able to, like you said, move towards conflict in a helpful way rather than it's your 100% your fault way.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I've noticed with myself and with my clients as well, like a common value is self-love and self-acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
That it's much easier to make room for your flaws if you love yourself anyway.
Yeah.
And usually that's a struggle if that person isn't willing to see themselves in a less than perfect light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a sad way to live.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, conflict or struggle is built in to life, it's in every single relationship with ourselves, with our government, with our neighbors, with
Mm-hmm. Our
all
marriages. Yeah.
marriage, all the systems that our religions, our communities, struggle and strife is everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so to have such a low tolerance for that is really painful. It can make your world a lot smaller
Right.
when you try to avoid it altogether.
Right.
So, how do you stay in relationship with differing views? If you're at the dinner table and your child is deciding different political affiliations, or you're at a family reunion and your older parents are saying horrifying things.
One of the resources we used and studied a lot in my undergrad degree was the Arbinger Institute. And
So good.
they, yeah, they're great. And they have a pyramid of influence. I don't know if you've seen it. It's really easy to Google or look up, but essentially 90% of the pyramid is the bottom half is helping things go right. And the very top tip of the pyramid is correcting when things go wrong. And they the argument is when whatever your approach to a conflict isn't working, go deeper in the pyramid, go deeper. And the base layer is build a relationship. So when someone says something problematic, immediately jumping to correct or how dare you say that or you're so wrong, you're so
You're so
stupid
wrong.
for thinking that. Yeah. Usually I don't know anyone who responds well to that, myself included. I often take opportunities like that to just sit back and listen to what they're saying and then to start asking some questions. Why does that political party appeal to you? Why do you think this way? Where is this coming from? Is what I'm trying to dig deep.
Why do you like the religion that we've taught you?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? And some people, when you have that genuine curiosity, will open up. And I actually had an experience like this recently with someone who doesn't believe in the faith I believe in. They were raised in it. And when they started saying stuff, I immediately felt my guard go up because it's
Sure.
so beautiful to me. But I paused, I took a breath. We were in the car together, so I didn't have to look at them. And I was like, what was that like for you? And they said they struggled with scrupulosity. And so the church was really difficult because rules and commandments, the way they had interpreted it in their mind, was completely opposite of how I had. And so
So it makes
their
sense.
experience in the church was horrible, even though same church, but our internal world, we can't always see that. And so asking people about it is probably the first step, the first strategy out. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And when I've done that with clients, and maybe you found this to be true as well, when parents don't see eye to eye or, them and their mother-in-law or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I'll say, but you and your spouse, you both want healthy, happy kids. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I'm like, unless you're married to a sadist or somebody that hates your kids, wants them to be miserable, you actually both want successful children that are happy and well adjusted. And most people are like, yeah. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so you just have different opinions of how to go about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I'm hearing here, right? Is
Yeah.
like understanding one's experience or the lens in which they're seeing something can help you realize that you both want the same thing. Somebody with scrupulosity in a religious setting, which for listeners who don't know what that is, it's OCD
Mm-hmm.
around religion or God. Your brain will tell you, the disease will tell you, well, you have to read your scriptures for 6 hours a day or you're going to burn in hell.
Mm-hmm.
You can't ever make a mistake or you're going to burn in hell. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
everything or you're going to burn, right?
Yeah.
And so the lens of experiencing religion in that, they stepped away because that's how they found peace. And you find peace by staying in. So you're both searching for peace,
Mm-hmm.
but you both come to it in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I understanding what you're saying correctly?
Yes, that is what I said. I don't know if it answers the question of when we're all sitting around the dinner table and someone brings up
It totally
a
does.
political view that you're like, oh my gosh, how could you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or your kid comes home and says, nothing's wrong with pot. Well, explain to me why you think that.
Yeah.
Right? Why is it not a problem that you just got busted for cheating? Like, let's understand that or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this though. Is it different when people hold truly harmful or dehumanizing views, not just different than you? One client, for example, my son has gotten into really incel stuff. He says blatantly racist things. He's very sexist. He has been very reckless with substances. He's really heading down a path in a lot of different avenues that I think
Deeply
most
harmful.
people would
Mm-hmm.
agree are harmful and
Yeah.
dehumanizes people. Yes.
Yeah, that is a great question. And probably one of my favorites because people are like, yeah, I get all this peace conflict theory stuff, but what if the
Yeah,
person's actually evil, which is fair. It's a fair question. Evil things exist in this world.
evil.
I'm currently developing a curriculum about white supremacy and people who've successfully engaged with white supremacy to disarm the hate and violence there. And for me, successfully disarming it means converting people out of the hate and violence, saving
Yes.
human beings from
Humanizing all
hate.
the people they choose to hate.
Yes. And what I've found in my research, and I met a former neo Nazi last summer and have since done deep dives into their psychology and their people who are drawn to these genuinely harmful movements and ideologies is these groups, these people, they kind of going back to what we talked about in the beginning, they feed off of the collusion. The former neo-Nazi I had the chance to meet, when he told his story, it was clear that he was addicted to hate. Getting hatred from people gave him a high.
Mm.
And he started as a pretty young kid bullying, just anything to get this kind of high, this kind of hatred from people. And by the time he was a teenager, his threshold had gone up and up and up. And so, how do you get more people to hate you? You become a white supremacist, you become a neo Nazi. So, the more we engage in that collusion spiral, the more we hate them, tell them how wrong they are, give them bad press, the more we're giving them exactly what they want. And
Fascinating.
the
So
more
this
we
wasn't
push them
anecdotal. This
deeper.
is pretty across the board of people who
There's a
believe
variety of
evil.
reasons why someone would tend to extremist, harmful groups. One is certainly that hate is a drug. Others are that they don't fit in with mainstream society. These are people who are just naturally weird and they don't fit in. Maybe they've been bullied. Maybe they feel like a loser. Maybe they've been told they're a loser by society. And so they gravitate towards edges of the internet or whatever it is that say, you're not a loser, you're the victim. And it's the rest of the world that's the problem. And so, whether it is their own sense of insecurity, whether it's hatred, whether it is,
Finding a
it could be a
community
variety of
where they
things.
belong.
Right. But what is universally true is that shaming them, hating them, pushing them away always feeds the harm more than it
Okay, so
fixes it.
regardless of
Yeah.
the reason, if your child is choosing a more hateful,
Problematic ideology. Yeah.
yes, thank you.
Yeah.
How we combat that is love the crap out of them
Mm-hmm.
and don't reject and throw hate back.
Yeah. Because you can't fight hate with more hate. It doesn't
No,
work.
it's adding gas to the fire.
Yeah. Which is not to say that if your kid comes home with a swastika tattoo that you should be like, I love you, everything's fine. It's not to say that. I think sometimes we misunderstand what love
Not
is.
permissive.
Yeah. But to be like, why did you get that? What does that mean to you? These are hard conversations,
Yeah.
especially when what they're saying is really vile, which it can be, especially in these incel groups and different things like
Uh-huh.
that. But having an honest conversation with your kid, why are you drawn to these things? What about it appeals to you? And try
One,
and listen. Yeah.
yeah, one of my favorite questions when people are making choices I don't understand is what benefit do you get from this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think
How
that's
does
great.
this work in your favor? Because we all do things because they benefit us.
Right.
Whether we're
There's
avoiding
always some
something or
benefit.
gaining something, we always choose what benefits us, even if it's only in the moment and not long term.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, which I think a lot of these kids, they feel the benefit of having a community, of getting maybe some kind of adrenaline rush,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not looking long term at the detriment of this short term benefit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any other final words for our listeners on conflict studies, how to help their kids, extended family, themselves to move through conflict, which is unavoidable, in a more peaceful way?
Yeah, what I find very prevalent, and this may be a my generation thing right now, but what's prevalent in society right now is very strong ideologies that govern the way we engage in relationships rather than engaging every single individual as an individual. If one person has one trait or one belief or one thing, it's very easy in our society to chalk them up to we know everything about them. And that's never true. Engage people on a human level. Engage individuals one on one.
I love
So,
it. We don't know other
mhm.
people's stories. Thank you, Abby, for coming on.
Thank you.
Heather is the one, an expert in the field. She knows her parenting stuff, including how confusing it can be. You've tried it all, and it's a lost cause. Crying in the closet cause you failed at being a mom. But think again, there's peace around the corner and there's hope in your hands. Your kid just wants your love and you want